Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm peeling back the layers and getting really vulnerable with you all, because I want to share a journey that completely reshaped my life. It's not about some grand, sudden transformation, but something far more accessible and, honestly, far more powerful: the incredible impact of small, consistent steps. For a long time, I felt like I was constantly treading water, stuck in a cycle of aspiration and disappointment. Maybe you can relate. I had these huge, beautiful visions for my life: a healthier body, a thriving career, deeper relationships, mastering new skills. But every time I looked at the sheer scale of these goals, a wave of overwhelm would crash over me. It felt like standing at the base of Mount Everest with no climbing gear, just staring up at an impossible peak. I'd get fired up, make an elaborate plan, maybe stick to it for a day or two, and then inevitably, I'd fall off. And each time I failed, the weight of discouragement grew heavier, making the next attempt even harder. I was trapped in this cycle of big intentions and even bigger letdowns. But then, something began to shift. It wasn't a thunderbolt moment or a life-altering event. It was a gradual, almost imperceptible whisper of an idea. What if the problem wasn't the mountain itself, but my approach to climbing it? What if, instead of trying to scale the entire peak in one heroic leap, I just focused on taking one tiny, manageable step? The idea was so simple, almost deceptively so, that at first, I dismissed it. But the more I thought about it, the more it resonated. So, I decided to experiment. I literally stopped looking at the daunting summit and redirected my gaze to the single step directly in front of me. This wasn't about lowering my standards, it was about changing my strategy. Let's take health, for instance. For years, my internal monologue around health was brutal. You need to run 5 miles a day. You have to cut out all sugar, all carbs, everything fun. You need to spend an hour at the gym, rain or shine. It was an all-or-nothing mentality, and guess what? It always ended in nothing. I'd start with gusto, feel deprived and exhausted, and within a week, I'd be back to my old habits, feeling worse than when I started because I'd failed yet again. My first foray into small steps for health was almost comically simple. I decided my only health goal for the entire week was to drink 1 extra glass of water every morning right after waking up. That was it. No other dietary changes, no forced workouts. Just 1 glass of water. And you know what? I did it. It was so easy, so non-intrusive, that there was virtually no resistance. The feeling of actually accomplishing that tiny goal, consistently, for 7 days, was surprisingly empowering. It built a microscopic sliver of trust in myself. The following week, I added another minuscule habit. 5 minutes of gentle stretching before bed. Not a full yoga routine, not a sweaty workout, just 5 minutes of simple stretches. Again, it was so small that it felt effortless. It barely registered as an effort in the traditional sense, but it was a consistent, positive action I was taking for myself. Over time, these seemingly insignificant actions started to weave together, creating a powerful tapestry of new habits. That 1 extra glass of water became 2, then 3, eventually leading to consistent hydration throughout my day. Those 5 minutes of stretching slowly grew to 10, then 15, evolving into a dedicated morning movement routine that I genuinely looked forward to. I wasn't attempting to become a different person overnight. I was simply adding small, positive habits, one after another, layering them on like building blocks. Because each step was so small, the internal resistance was practically non-existent. It never felt like a monumental chore, it felt like a natural, almost organic, progression. This wasn't about forcing myself to do things I hated, it was about gently nudging myself towards healthier choices. This same principle proved revolutionary in my professional life too. I used to dread starting big projects. The sheer weight of a massive deadline or a complex task was enough to trigger days, sometimes weeks, of procrastination. My desk would become a graveyard of unstarted intentions. But then I started applying the small step philosophy. I'd ask myself, what is the absolute smallest, most trivial thing I can do right now to move this project forward? Sometimes, that meant simply opening the document on my computer. Not writing, not even reading, just opening it. Other times, it was writing a single sentence. Or even just creating a new folder on my desktop and naming it for the project. Sounds utterly ridiculous, right? Almost like cheating. But here's where the magic truly happened. The act of taking that tiny, initial step broke the inertia. Once the document was open, or that one sentence was written, the next step felt a little less daunting. The mental barrier to entry was gone. I'd think, well, I'm already here, I might as well write another sentence. Or, since the folder's made, I can drop in that one resource file. Soon, I'd find myself in a state of flow, making tangible progress without even consciously trying to summon massive willpower. It wasn't about brute force anymore, it was about building and harnessing momentum. Each tiny action created a ripple effect, propelling me forward. This fundamental shift in perspective completely transformed how I approached every goal, every challenge, every aspiration in my life. It taught me the profound lessons of patience, consistency, and the exponential power of compounding effort. We live in a world that champions instant gratification and dramatic transformations, but true, lasting change rarely happens that way. It's not about making huge, unsustainable changes that burn you out and leave you feeling defeated. It's about committing to yourself to take just one small, manageable step, day after day after day. Or every other day. Or whenever you genuinely can. The real secret here isn't intensity, it's unwavering consistency, even when the steps feel laughably tiny. Think about the incredible power of compound interest, but applied to your personal growth. If you commit to improving by just 1% every single day, do you know what happens over the course of a year? It's not just a marginal improvement of 365%. Thanks to the magic of compounding, you actually end up 37 times better than when you started. That's the mind-blowing power of these tiny, seemingly insignificant steps adding up over time. It's not flashy, it's not a quick fix that goes viral, but it is incredibly effective, deeply sustainable, and fundamentally life-altering. So, if you're currently feeling overwhelmed, stuck, or like you just can't seem to get started on those dreams you hold dear, I want to extend a genuine challenge to you. Stop looking at the distant summit. Don't even focus on the next big milestone. Instead, simply ask yourself this crucial question: what is the absolute smallest, most ridiculously easy step I can take right now to move towards this goal? What's that one tiny thing you can do today, perhaps in the next 5 minutes, that will nudge you forward by even just a millimeter? Maybe it's sending that single email you've been putting off for weeks. Maybe it's setting a timer for 2 minutes and just decluttering one small section of your desk. Perhaps it's committing to walking for just 5 minutes around your block. Or maybe, for today, it's simply making your bed in the morning if you haven't been. Whatever it is, no matter how small or insignificant it might seem, embrace the profound power of the tiny. You will be absolutely astonished at how quickly those seemingly small, consistent steps accumulate and build into monumental leaps over time. And please, remember this crucial point: progress is almost never linear. There will be days when life gets in the way, when you miss a step, or when you feel like you're momentarily sliding backward. That's not just okay, it's an inherent part of the journey. Don't use those moments as an excuse to abandon your efforts. Simply acknowledge it, be kind to yourself, don't beat yourself up, and then, tomorrow, or even later today, simply take another small step. That's truly all it takes to restart the momentum and keep moving forward. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I genuinely hope that sharing my experience inspires you to begin your own incredible journey, one tiny, powerful step at a time. If this resonated with you, if it gave you a new perspective, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more content focused on sustainable growth.